Welcome back, diecast fans. It's another beautiful day here in Ontario, Canada. We're going to be looking at some vintage Hot Wheels. My Blue Card Year by Year video is resuming again. Let's go down to the Diecast Museum and check out what vintage Hot Wheels you're going to see today, including all the rare variations that I've managed to collect over the years. What do you say, Nina? Should we go check out some vintage Hot Wheels in the diecast room? Looks like Nina's sitting this one out, so it's just going to be me and you guys going to check out some vintage Hot Wheels here as we head into the diecast museum. What else is going on down here? It's been a little while since I showed you guys much of the rest of the basement. Kind of got overtaken with a little bit of Lego as well. But we're going to be bringing diecast to my Lego city once it gets built, if it gets built. Not really sure when that's going to happen. Don't hold your breath. I certainly have enough Lego to build a city, I guess. Anyways, moving on. I also put the Johnny Lightning cars on a new spot on the wall, so definitely going to take a look at some of that cool new footage once I get a video kind of organized for that. Into the depths of the Diecast Museum. What a great way to start the morning. Okay, so we left off last looking at Auto World, and they are still pretty much all over the table. So now I've got to do the reverse. I got to get the Hot Wheels onto the table, and the Auto World, well, into the collection, probably into the rest of the Diecast Museum, on the walls, in and around the Lego Table City area. So let's get into it and check out some diecast. We are kicking off Hot Wheels Blue Card Year by Year Episode 9. I've got 25 unique castings out on the table for a review with you guys. We are going through a price guide, looking at some of the extremely rare variations that I have in this collection, which has taken me years to amass, and several hundred, if not thousands of dollars just in this small collection of 25 different castings. Obviously, many more than that with variations included. There were lots of variations in the Hot Wheels Blue Card series, just as there are today, but maybe if not even more. So let's get right into it, starting with collector number 77, which is going to be the Byway Man, and finishing off with collector number 110. Hot Wheels Byway Man, collector number 77. Multiple variations of this truck exist, and some of them are quite pricey, quite hard to come by. More variations here than probably most people realize, unless you're a serious Blue Card collector. The common version, to start off with, would be this black painted Byway Man with the eagle tampo on the sides, red interior. These are all metal. This one's got the speed points packaging. In the back of the Blue Card, you can see collectors number 1 through 92, actually all in the proper order here. Some of these vehicles weren't actually released, but very few. And this version here with the metallic blue paint is actually from a previous, parts from a previous release, 1989 version of the Byway Man in the metallic blue, also with the eagle tampo. Obviously an interior mix-up in the assembly plant as the newer red interiors found their way onto one of the very few blue castings that was still in the mix. So a few of these have been seen, and I've seen a couple of them sell over the years on eBay. I think I paid over $100 for this, if memory serves, and certainly I've seen them sell for more, sometimes less. So that one is quite a rare piece, and this one was not released in the 90s, so we'll just put that one aside. Now, going back to the black version of this truck, there are two different tampo variations even in this one. One has the dark blue in the wings of the eagle. The other one has medium blue, as you can see in the difference here. We'll put the two loose versions next to each other. Maybe that will make it even clearer. Dark blue and kind of a medium blue in the tampo. Quite a noticeable difference, and something you're going to see in many blue tampo variations through this period of vehicles, and certainly in the cars that I have out for you today. Now this maroon version was previously released in 1989. It was re-released in 1990 for the Blue Card series. It also features the Eagle Tampo on the side, red interior, and there apparently were some of these with a white kind of painted sidewall on the construction tire. I have never seen one of these for sale, but apparently if they were around, they would be quite rare. I'm not sure about that nowadays, since it's such an easy customization to make. It would be very difficult to authenticate that, in my opinion. For that reason, I would not pay a lot of money for one of these unless I was buying from a very reputable seller whom I trusted. So we're going to move on to collector number 78, and that is the Peterbilt cement mixer. Another very familiar casting for many of us, I'm sure. There's also a Peterbilt dump truck that we're going to see in the background there, but that is collector number 100. So for now, we're at number 78. This actually has a tilting function and the rotating plastic cement mixer on the back. These trucks are often prone to losing this in play wear and play damage, and essentially the chassis is the exact same as for the dump truck, which we're going to look at in a moment here, which, as you can see, also has the tilt function. So these are not overly rare or valuable for that matter. A re-release also, this was a re-release from 1989, so these things have been around for a long time. You're going to find lots of them loose. But we also have number 79, the Big Bertha. This is a previous casting and tampo job from 1986, so continual production right up in through the 90s. Very common piece. On the Blue Card, a little bit more rare in my experience. I haven't seen a lot of them, but not worth a whole lot of money, according to my sources. The next vehicle we're looking at is number 80, which is the Porsche 959. So now we can take a look at the wide assortment of variations I have for this lot of Porsche 959s. We'll start off with the common versions. This version here with the white circle, racing circle, and 7 in the center is a fairly common one and a previously released version from 1989. So these are worth about $15 if found in mint condition. Now, what isn't known to a lot of people, again, is that blue tampo variation. So this is another common version that you could find with the Ultra Hot wheels and the 59 versus that white number circle with number 7. The 59 version came with the dark blue and the medium blue tampo variations. So that is something to look out for. Prices on those generally seems to be about the same, and it's quite hard to shop for those if you're buying them online, as pictures can be deceiving. The hardest one to find, according to most guides, is this version featuring the silver Hot One wheels. This particular car sports the medium blue tampo, but I'm sure it may or may not have been available with dark blue as well, given that the Ultra Hot version was found with dark blue. So that's a fairly rare one. This is on an international card. That's why there is no collector number at the bottom. You're going to find multiple languages, including French, and so for some collectors that might not be ideal if you're a carded collector on the Blue Card numbered collection and really must have all those white numbers at the bottom. But for me, living in Canada, this doesn't really matter because this is what was available in the stores at the time. And also, you won't find this one in most guidebooks, as it was pretty much only an international release, so far as I know. Potentially, there was a collector number version, and if so, that would be even more rare. But this features the gold Ultra Hot wheels on the car. Very nice gold plating. These were not put on too many of the cars in the Blue Card era, and so therefore they usually command quite an extra price. Currently, at this time of filming, April 2021, I've seen one of these on eBay, and in an international card, seller's asking $300 US. I did not pay anywhere near that for this version, probably more like $30 or $40, but I've had this car for years in my collection, and they are becoming ever more scarce. So let's move along to the number 81 Ratmobile. This is another re-release from 1989. So these were found on the 89 packaging. That's what I mean when I keep saying that. Also found on the Blue Card now. You've got the common version with the Ultra Hot wheels, pretty much only worth about $1. And then you've got the Silver Hot One version, which is the much more rare Ratmobile to find, just because of that wheel variation. Maybe $5, $10 on those versions. 82 is a common vehicle, again, for many people, the Fire Eater. Fire truck, if you will. This thing's been around since 1977. with the same paint job essentially, very minimal changes, dating right back to the Redline era. And here again, produced throughout the 70s, 1980s, and well through the 90s with this paint job, is the Fire Eater in the bright fire engine red with the black wall wheels, chrome plastic base, and just an awesome little truck. Love these fire trucks. Got so many of these things. I do have quite a few variations for you, as there were a lot of variations through the blue card era. But as you can see, most of these are not true blue cards. We've got the faded blue card, blue to white, for many of the variations, including the 7-spoke, the 5-spoke, 5-spoke with fluorescent yellow paint, a different paint job. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second here as we get to the loose vehicles. But as we just look at the packaging for these two numbered blue cards, number 82, these would be the earliest releases of the ones you've just seen. Even earlier between the two is the one, of course, with the brand new 1990 Collector Series identified on the back, available for summer, fall of 1990, it says, versus this other one, which just has some kind of generic advertising for several vehicles that would have been found throughout the years collecting Hot Wheels. So we've got all of these are out and loose to take a look at. Again, the common one is the black wall version. However, these are all very common and really aren't worth more than a couple bucks, even to this day, mint in packaging. So I was able to pick up this collection for quite cheap. It's actually a fairly recent addition to my collection, and I'm quite happy to have them all together at this point. So we've also got the fluorescent yellow version, same collector, number 82, and we've got the tri-blade wheel version, or snow blade. I always get that confused. I'm pretty sure you can call it either. It's probably called the tri-blade. And I don't know that I'm not missing any from the Fire Eater collection. So that takes us to the Tank Gunner, which is number 83 in the blue card series. Tank Gunner was previously and first released in 1984. So another long time running Hot Wheel casting. First came out in the Action Command series, even before the regular mainline Hot Wheels. Actually, that's not true. These go right back to Redline era as well. Now that I look over at my collector wall in the background, I see one on the wall from 1976, but not with this tampo job and paint job. Either way, pretty common piece, not worth a lot. Very cool. It's got two little mini wheels hidden under those tracks. The gun turret does not rotate or do anything. But you certainly won't find Hot Wheels like this anymore on your shelves in your local Walmart. Probably one of the coolest Hot Wheels again is this Probe Funny Car. The Probe Funny Car is a drag strip style car based on the Ford Probe, probably a mid to late 80s version, maybe early 90s. You can see it's got a little plastic stand built in with that huge custom engine and exhaust pipes underneath. Very nice, heavy piece. Known by actual Hot Wheel drag racers that race these things down the orange tracks to be a very fast car on the track. If you watch Ghost Jerker, I think he frequently has these in his winning podium places for his little races on his YouTube channel. So pretty cool car. Hasn't been seen too often, and probably one of the more expensive cars in the lot. My price on this one is probably around $30, $20 to $30 in this mint condition with the Motocraft tampos. And coming up, you're going to see it complements the, which one is this? The Thunderbird Stalker quite well, just a few card numbers ahead. So we'll get to that car in just a moment, as it is still farther up in line on the collector series. Now we're on to the proper chopper. There's two variations to note here. This is the common variation. It has a red triangle behind that yellow 2 under News Chopper. A more rare variation has a yellow triangle replacing that red with red in the rest of the tampo. That one would be worth apparently around $60 to $70 mint loose on card, according to some sources. I have not seen one of those for sale before, but this kind of more standard version can be found for about $5 or $10. And these do come packaged with the rotor blades collapsed into one, and the tail boom kind of fits into the fuselage of the aircraft. And that is how you would display it normally, though. Now we're looking at number 87, the Purple Passion. Quick correction, this is actually number 86, not number 85. Some of the collector numbers were not released at all between the numbers that we're looking at today. and those ones are just classified as unreleased. So skipping number 85, that was 86. We're on to number 87. Two variations for the Purple Passion. At one time, this casting was one of the most highly coveted collectible cars for Hot Wheel collectors through the 90s and 2000s. There were many premium releases of this casting as well as mainline releases, and still to this day, I think it's a very magnificent casting. It is of a slammed and chopped, shaven 50s Mercury coupe, as best I know. Lots of custom work on it, and a very chrome, flashy base. So we've got two variations here. The common one features the yellow flames with the blue outline. The less common has these kind of green scallops and different tampo designs on the side with a dark blue outline. Sorry about the focus there. The camera is struggling slightly right now. And there it is in the package, number 87, with some generic collector numbers on the back. Now we're moving on. Oh, for values, this is worth about $5, $10. This one's about $15, $20. And here we are over at the Thunderbird Stalker. Let's just bring that Ford Probe funny car over because it matches so well with one of them. This would be two different paint jobs available in this year. Tampo variation on the number 28 car we're going to look at in just a second. The two variations of the red Motorcraft version of this car featured either Blackwall wheels or, I believe, all small Blackwall wheels. So this one's got the large Blackwall wheel on the back and a smaller wheel on the front, roll cage inside. Rare variation is going to have a small black wheel on the back, and that's not much more rare apparently from price guides, but we're going to say about $20, $30 for that car, and that would be mint in a mint packaging, of course, blue card packaging. Here for the number 28 version of this car, clearly completely different paint job and tampo work. These cars are essentially the same, but here again we have that blue variation change on the Ford logo only, medium blue versus dark blue. This car would also be available with Blackwall wheels, potentially carry forward chassis from this version. If you can find one of those cars, it is very rare, and that would be worth about $200 on mint condition card. Again, another fairly easy one to kind of forge, so I would be wary with collector cars at that price just with a wheel variation. So let's move on to the next vehicle. Pretty cool vehicle that was just actually re-released in the last couple of years, and that is this little mini truck based on a Nissan pickup truck. It's got a giant sound system in the back, some subwoofers, and two amplifiers exposed, huge chrome engine, standard gearbox by looks of it. It's kind of a neat, futuristic looking little truck. It says truck on the license plate, aqua blue plastic base. Two variations that are quite common for this one has one with a mauve-ish kind of purple line, which you see here. The other one has a dark purple line. And the very rare variation would have silver Hot One wheels. Now that little guy would be worth about $200 again. I don't have one of those in my collection, nor am I planning on adding one unless, of course, a stellar deal should come up. And now for a casting of which I have numerous versions. This is the Mercedes 380 SEL. The first release on the blue card for this would be featuring the gold Hot One wheels, Speed Points packaging, the authentic list on the back, and these are worth around $30 or $40 mint in the packaging. For about half that, you should be able to find a silver Hot One equipped Mercedes 380 SEL. And for those of you who are not familiar with this casting, check out there's a German Shepherd sitting in the back seat just peering out the window. So one of the very few Hot Wheels to have a pet in it, as part of the interior. Pretty cool. We also have the Ultra Hot version, and these are worth about $10 to $12 mint packaging. Now, because I live in Canada, I have found some interesting international releases. Here again, just the two numbered cars that we've already looked at. International release only, non-numbered blue cards. We've got a gold Ultra Hot version of this casting, so that's got to be quite rare, as most of these cars are. And we have a much more difficult to find white version of the Mercedes 380 SEL with the Ultra Hot wheels. I believe this is a carry forward from 1989. In fact, it is. I have the car on my wall. So, same car in the blue card packaging. A price on this, I'm not really sure. I can't even remember what I paid for it, but they're probably worth around the $20 to $30 mark still. So quite nice to have all these in the collection. I really do like the Mercedes 380 SEL a tremendous amount. And this was a final run car in 1999, so this casting has not been made for over 22 years now. Another classic casting. This is a new paint job for the 90s Blue Card era of the Auburn 852. An absolutely beautiful real-life car from the late 1920s. An extremely expensive car in real life at that time, and I think there's only a couple left in the world in existence. Beautiful rendition of this one. It's got the chrome banding around the windshield, those pod headlights, and plastic fenders. These are not worth a terrible amount, about $20, the white walls. Apparently they could be found with black wall wheels, and if so, that would be about $200 again. So for collector number 95, we have the pair of 55 Chevys. These would also be found in individual plastic baggies for a McDonald's promotion, along with 6 other cars that were available at the time when you bought a Happy Meal at McDonald's in certain participating countries and states and provinces. But they were also found on the blue card in the example of these two Chevys. Kind of a cheap, lightweight casting by comparison to all other Hot Wheels. They don't feature any sort of interior, opaque windows, nearly opaque anyways. Light plastic base with kind of a cheaper quality silvery kind of murky plastic. These ones feature a skid plate on the front, which I guess aided in longevity of the axles under hard play. The castings could also be found without the skid plates. Values on all these cars are about the same, about $15 to $20 each between the 4 variations that exist, and the 2 that I have here will represent all 4, as they don't look any different other than the base, and I don't have those cars on hand. Okay, that brings us to number 98. I have to say it again, but it's one of my favorite castings. One of the very few castings Hot Wheels made with opening doors. That is the Nissan 300ZX, ZX, I guess, if you're in the United States. And this one has the metallic purple burgundy paint. It will be found later in the Blue Card series with metallic purple paint. So that's why it's not covered here in these variations. This is a carry forward from 1989. This was found in 1989 with either Silver Hot One or Ultra Hot Wheels, and again in the Collector Blue Card series with both those variations. I just love the axles on these. They've got those very smooth suspension, they just roll so nicely. And the harder variation to find here is a gold Ultra Hot version, which I bought loose. I think I paid about $80 or $90 for this one. It's in beautiful condition, other than it's got some, what looks to be maybe some spider turd kind of adhered to the paint in a few spots. I have not tried picking at it for fear of damaging it, and I'm pretty certain this is quite a rare car. In the packaging, I've seen these things offered up on eBay for no less than 200 American dollars. So why don't we take a look at the, oh, I almost lost that one. We'll look at those doors and how they open. Just kind of opening up halfway, no farther than that, but it's still plenty, and just kind of a really neat feature on this casting. So we've got a few variations out here. I think these 2 are just the same. I had one loose and one in the packaging to show you, but there are the 3 variations available. Prices on these would be, again, for the gold Ultra Hot around $200, and for the Silver Hot one probably around $20 to $40. The Ultra Hot version is the most common, and you should be able to find those for around $10 to $15. Final in this row is the collector number 100 collector number 99 Ford stake bed truck. And it's got the rapid delivery tampo on it, tilting stake bed box, often found missing on played with versions. It's got all small wheel black walls. Quite a common piece, really not that hard to come by, probably around $10 for that one. Now back to the Peterbilt dump truck, collector number 100. We've got 3 variations here. I am missing one of the variations. A white wall version of this truck apparently existed. I have never seen one of these, so I can't really give a price on it, but if you did find it, it could either be quite rare or it could be a fake. But for the black wall version, quite common. An awesome toy though, with a functioning box, plastic, very easy to fall off and break off. So not great for longevity in the toy box, but a cool model nonetheless. And as you can see, we've got More variations here. Blackwall again. Blackwall variations exist with the chassis. So we've got the Hot Wheels flame logo on the bottom, or just Hot Wheels with Peterbilt. Likely one of these is an older version. I'm not really sure which. They might only be 1 year apart, 1989 versus 90, for instance, as this truck has been released continuously through the years. Also found with the 7-spoke wheels. And I think I am missing, yes, I'm missing the 3-spoke wheel variation of this truck with the red paint. It shouldn't be all that rare or expensive, about $5 each, any of these trucks. Obviously, this truck will be available on a solid blue card as well. But here we have kind of a later release. Looks like that's the logo release, so this is probably the newer one of the same Blackwall version on the faded blue card for the Peterbilt. Workhorse, it says right there, but this is a Peterbilt dump truck. And interestingly, they call it the Peterbilt Workhorse on this packaging. Okay, that brings us to collector number 102. 101 is unreleased. 102 is the Surf Patrol. And here we have one of the 2 variations available. Another very common variation has the tri-blade wheels on it, tri-blade construction wheels. For some reason, I just don't have one of these in my collection, but really they're not worth more than $2 or $3. And this version, again, not worth more than $2 or $3, as it was quite commonly released. But a cool little casting nonetheless. And I really do enjoy that truck. So next one up is the Range Rover, another truck I definitely liked a lot, especially as a kid. This big boxy Range Rover. This one is collector number 103. First release of this casting. We will see it again later in the blue card line with a metallic black paint job. And it's just a nice kind of detailed little black door trim on the sides of the truck. So not worth a whole lot of money, maybe about $10 as well. Now we're getting into some of the bigger money as we look at collector number 104, Turbo Streak. This one has 2 variations that I'm aware of. One of them has a painted spoiler on the back with a tampo that says Tune Up Masters, and the hot fluorescent pink paint all the way around. This is an all metal casting. That's the rare variation. This I paid about $75 American for a few years back from a trusted collector and his collection. The common version has an unpainted spoiler fin on the back. So that can be found for about $10 to $20. This one, if you can find one, very rare. I would expect it to be worth over $100 by this point in time. And another expensive one is the collector number 105, the Peugeot 205 Rally. This is seen on the international collector card without the collector number, but much more valuable with the collector number. Don't often see those come up for sale anymore, still in the packaging, but without the collector number, you can find the international releases a little cheaper, around $50 to $60 in conditions such as this. Popular casting, also released later on with a number 3, same white paint job, but different tampos. We'll look at that car as this series continues. But here we have the first release. It's a carry forward from 1989, so you can also find this on the 1989 non-blue card packaging. Opening rear hatch shows some pretty clever roll cage integration and interior. Very large casting, but a very cool one. Good for the downhill races. There's a lot of weight in that car. Those are worth about $30 in mint loose condition in my experience. Next up, another very popular vehicle is the Volkswagen Golf. Commonly found in red paint with the GTI livery on the side, black plastic base. These are worth about $10 to $15. Here we have one in loose condition to look at. Just a nice little classic Hot Wheel. And the much more uncommon variation to find, also collector number 106. They're both collector 106, even though it's an international no numbered card, is this white version with kind of the nostalgic, I don't know what you want to call it, the graphics on the side with the Volkswagen symbol. But looks a little bit like a Barbie car. It's got a bright pink base, but this is a valuable car and worth anywhere between $30 and $60, depending on when you're hitting the market to buy one, if you can find one, that is. Next up, the 108 ramp truck. So we skip past 107 as it was unreleased. Ramp truck featuring the International Dream Cars Race Team Tampa on the side. 2 versions. One with the opaque black windows, the other with the transparent windows, showing that this truck has no interior. It is very heavy though, quite a heavy piece, and the ramp is large enough to carry most Hot Wheels, although the proportions are very off. That is fine though. The clear window variation is much harder to find than the black window tint variation. Worth about $15 to $25 here with the black windows. This one might run you at least double that, if not more, if you can find that one for sale to this day. And our final Hot Wheel for this episode 9 of my Blue Card Year by Year series is the Trail Buster. Kind of like a Jeep-like fantasy vehicle. Hot pink interior, all metal. And we've got 2 variations here. The common variation features aqua blue splatter in that 3-color Tampo livery. The harder to find variation has black replacing that blue. This one is worth about $35 to $50 in my experience, as I've bought 2 of them here. And this version here you should be able to find for probably $3 to $5. They really aren't that uncommon. So that is all 25 castings and numerous variations of this episode 9 of the Blue Card series. Stay tuned for more of this series as we continue to go through the Hot Wheels Blue Card wall in sequential order. Next time we'll be starting off with collector number 111. If you're after any of these, of course, happy hunting. We'll see you in the next video.